It's an amazing thing when you sing with somebody. It's a very intimate relationship. It's almost like sex. It's as intimate as sex, but it's not sex. It's different.
And it's that intimate.
It's that intimate. It's like a great love affair.
It's rare for a legendary singer to openly criticize her own biggest hits, but Linda Ronstadt, one of the most celebrated voices of the 1970s and 80s, has never been one to hold back. While fans still adore her chart toppers, Ronstadt herself has admitted there's one particular song she can't stand, and it just so happens to be one of her most famous. A reluctant star. From the outside, Linda Ronstadt appeared to have it all. Her voice soared across genres, rock, country, pop, even operetta, with a clarity and power that made her one of the most successful singers of her time. She racked up multiple Grammy Awards, sold millions of albums, and regularly topped the charts. But behind the scenes, Ronstadt was often uncomfortable with the very machine that propelled her to stardom. She didn't like the spotlight, and she was often critical of her own work, even at its peak. In a 2017 interview with The Guardian, Ronstadt admitted bluntly, quote, "I don't like any of my albums. It wasn't said for effect. She genuinely struggled with listening back to her recordings. She pointed out technical flaws that most fans wouldn't notice and felt her performances rarely met her personal standards. I was always looking for things I had done wrong," she said. "I didn't have the luxury of listening for pleasure."
I think it's a natural thing for animals to not like to be stared at. And because often in the animal kingdom, if someone's staring at you, they want to eat you. So I think I just went along with nature in that way. I remember when I was a little girl, I was always hiding behind my mother's legs, and it was very hard to become a performer because I loved to sing and I loved to rehearse. But getting on stage meant everybody was looking at you. So I just look at my feet. So people ask me about different times of different periods of music, and I can usually remember what kind of shoes I was wearing.
This dissatisfaction extended to her live performances as well. Touring became a chore rather than a thrill. She once confessed she hated touring altogether, citing the strain it placed on her voice and the repetitiveness of the schedule. She told Far Out magazine, "I didn't like being on the road. I didn't like living out of suitcases. I didn't like singing in sports arenas." Unlike many artists who thrive on applause and adulation, Ronstadt found herself growing tired of the rituals of performance. She valued the technical aspects of singing and studio work far more than being on stage. Her perfectionism, paired with an honest self-awareness, meant that she was often her own harshest critic. This distance between her personal feelings and the way fans viewed her music created a complicated legacy, where some of her most celebrated songs were the ones she liked the least. The hit she couldn't stand. One of Linda Ronstadt's biggest hits, You're No Good, topped the Billboard 100 in 1975 and helped cement her status as a leading voice of her generation. The track had everything a pop rock single needed: a strong hook, a tight arrangement, and Ronstadt's unmistakable vocals cutting straight through the mix. But despite its success, she was never satisfied with how it turned out. Quote, "I thought the vocal was terrible," she said in an interview with American Songwriter. "I didn't sing it well. I was just screaming. It didn't have any dynamics." That song, originally written by Clint Ballard Jr. and previously recorded by others, including Betty Everett, took on a new life in Ronstadt's version. Producer Peter Asher worked closely with her on it, crafting a sound that would appeal to the rock audience of the mid-70s. From a commercial standpoint, it was a success, but Ronstadt, always a stickler for vocal detail, couldn't overlook what she saw as flaws. She described the vocal take as raw and uncontrolled. Quote, "I was used to singing with dynamics and emotional variation, and I didn't do that here," she explained. "I just blasted it out." Her dislike for the track wasn't about the song itself, it was about her performance and the way it was captured. That discomfort only grew with the song's popularity. While audiences screamed for it, she often dreaded singing it. It's not uncommon for artists to develop complicated feelings about their most popular work, especially when it doesn't reflect how they see themselves creatively. For Ronstadt, You're No Good was a prime example of how public taste could clash with personal artistic standards. Even decades later, she stands by her opinion. While the song remains a favorite among fans, she's made it clear it's not a favorite of hers. Perfectionism over popularity. Linda was never one to chase trends or settle for mediocrity. While many artists were content to ride the wave of commercial success, Ronstadt was laser-focused on technical quality. Her perfectionism didn't just apply to the studio, it shaped every part of her career, from her song choices to her vocal training to the musicians who want to just be famous. "I want it to be good." That mindset drove her to explore genres most pop singers avoided, like Mexican folk music, opera, and jazz standards. While others might have stuck to the formula that made You're No Good a hit, Ronstadt veered in the opposite direction. recording albums like Canciones de mi Padre and What's New with Nelson Riddle, both of which showcased her vocal range and musical curiosity. Ronstadt was known to obsess over getting things right in the studio. Her longtime producer Peter Asher described her process as meticulous, saying she would often re-record tracks until they met her standards. Quote, "She was very demanding but never unfair. She knew exactly what she wanted," he told Rolling Stone. The drive for precision sometimes came at a cost. Her frustration with her own voice led her to abandon songs she felt she couldn't deliver perfectly. Even after a concert that received a standing ovation, she might pick it apart backstage, pointing out moments where her pitch had slipped or a phrase lacked control. Her standards didn't waver as her fame grew. If anything, the pressures of success made her even more focused on doing things her way. That's why the disconnect between her opinion of You're No Good and its commercial success felt so sharp to her. The song may have launched her to new heights, but in her mind, it didn't reflect her best work. This perfectionism helped build a career that spanned genres and generations, but it also left her feeling detached from the very albums and songs that brought her fame. Quote, "I'm not a big fan of the recordings," she admitted to The Guardian. "It's like a letter you sent to the wrong address, and it keeps coming back marked return to sender." Breaking away. By the late 70s, Linda Ronstadt had every reason to keep recording hit singles. She was one of the top-selling female artists in the country, but instead of doubling down on pop rock, she took a sharp left turn. In 1983, she recorded What's New, the first in a trio of albums with famed arranger Nelson Riddle. The recordings featured classic American standards, the kind of songs once made famous by Frank Sinatra and Ella Fitzgerald. Critics were skeptical, but the album became a surprise hit. She didn't stop there. In 1987, she released Canciones de mi Padre, a full-length album of traditional Mexican songs sung in Spanish. It was a deeply personal project rooted in her family heritage. It became the best-selling non-English language album in American history at the time. Quote, "That's the real music of my heart," she once said. "That's the music I grew up with." Losing her voice.
You said you miss singing every day.
I can sing in my brain.
You sing in your brain.
It's not quite the same.
What is that like when you sing in your brain? What do you just hear the melody?
Sometimes I choose the song, and sometimes my brain chooses the song. And my brain chooses the worst music, blares away in my head, like really bad Christmas carols.
For decades, Linda Ronstadt's voice was her identity. It was the instrument that powered hits, challenged genre boundaries, and brought standing ovations. But in the early 2000s, something started to feel off. Her pitch wavered. Notes that came easily once felt strained. In 2013, she revealed she had Parkinson's disease. The diagnosis explained the vocal issues she had been experiencing. "I can't sing a note," she told AARP magazine. "It's like trying to run a marathon with a lead ball chained to your ankle." She had actually stopped performing years earlier, quietly slipping away from the stage before the public knew why. The disease didn't just affect her voice, it impacted her balance, mobility, and ability to live independently. But it was the loss of singing that struck the hardest. Quote, "Singing with your whole body is an entirely different experience," she told CBS Sunday Morning. "It's a form of meditation, a kind of prayer, and when that goes away, it leaves a huge hole." Despite the heartbreak of losing her voice, Ronstadt showed no signs of bitterness. She once said, quote, "I had a really good run. I got to do everything I wanted to do." That attitude spoke to her quiet strength, a trait that carried her through both stardom and struggle. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite memory of Linda? Let us know in the comments section below.